Good morning. My name is Greg Dixon. I'm here with Margo Arrowsmith and Betty Withrow, and we're going to talk about don't let fear drive your retirement decisions. Knowledge is power. I think there's a line in a law of physics that says momentum is conserved, and for most of us, our momentum is not to think and plan our retirement, and for things that might happen, like poor health. We people want to say, "Oh, I'll just continue going," and hope maybe they'll, you know, pass away quickly before they have to make a decision or something along those lines. So there's a when it does happen or it becomes evident that you're going to have to make some decisions, there can be a certain amount of fear, economic problems, health issues, all that kind of stuff. And there's some marketing that actually might appeal to that. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. And we're going to talk about how the more you know about the options that you have, and there are many, many, many good options, and some of them are perfect for you and some are not so perfect for you. So we're going to talk about that, how to get into a place where you're not fearful about it, you're just doing something that is the best for you. And Margo, would you like to lead off here?
Sure. Hi, I'm Margo Arrowsmith. I am the originator of the course, Your Perfect Retirement Living. And, the other day I was talking to someone, and that person used the word groundbreaking towards my course, and I was first like, well, I like the idea, but I'm like, that can't possibly be with my course. I mean, it seems kind of grandiose. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that the course is groundbreaking, and that's sad. It's really sad. My course should not be groundbreaking, but it is. And let me tell you, those of you who are on LinkedIn, and probably those of you who are on Facebook, know that every once in a while you'll get some sort of live interview that just sort of is there all of a sudden. And so these two women suddenly are talking to each other, and I don't even know who they were. I don't know how it popped up on me, but that's fine. But what I heard was very upsetting. One of them was a woman who runs a business teaching people how to do email marketing. Great, fine. I'd heard pretty much what she'd said before. Wonderful. The other one was a marketer for a senior housing community. Fine, great. Except that there were a couple things they said that kind of upset me. The one woman was telling the other woman tips for how to use her product and just in general, how to best way to conduct a tour when somebody's coming to look at senior housing to see if that's what they want. And everybody should do that, by the way. Unfortunately, what's groundbreaking about what I do is I teach people to go armed, not for battle, but to go knowing what questions to ask, to know how to ask questions, to know how to hear what they're saying and how to ask questions about what they're saying. But let me tell you what happened. First, the one lady who teaches people how to do email marketing said, because apparently one of the benefits of email marketing is that you learn a lot about your customers. Great. That's what the internet does these days. That's what cookies are all about. But what she said was, like, for instance, if to the other lady, if you're doing a tour with somebody and you happen to know, because of your research, if you happen to know that that woman is an introvert, so far I'm okay. I mean, I'm an introvert. I'm interested to see how they're going to handle introverts. By the way, introverts can be very social people. They just don't like a lot of people around them all the time or for too long. Okay. Well, she said, if someone is an introvert, and you know this from what we've taught you, you will know that when they come to visit, you want to de-emphasize a lot of people. So you don't want to invite them to a party. You want to have them come by themselves, and you don't want to emphasize that they're going to be living around a lot of people. I mean, even though everybody knows they will, you want to kind of keep that in the background. And I'm like, oh my God, she's teaching them to kind of falsify what they do. But I'm still not quite as upset. Second thing she said was, you also would like them to come alone because, for instance, if some woman comes and she brings her sister, well, what if the sister asks a lot of questions? I was so upset. just the idea that they don't want you asking questions and that they have to tell the marketers, who probably already knew that to begin with, don't let them ask a lot of questions. Don't let them bring people who are going to ask questions. This is what unfortunately makes my course groundbreaking is that that's half of what I do, is to teach people what questions to ask, how to ask them, how to listen to marketers so that you get from them what are good questions to ask. And then when they answer your questions in ways that you like, and that's great, get it in writing. How to make sure that what you're hearing is what you're going to get. And what really upset me about it was not just that they were saying it, because, marketers, I mean, when I was growing up, the worst marketer there was a used car salesman. That they were kind of the butt of everybody's jokes about somebody who was trying to pull something over on you, was a used car salesman. So, I mean, this is not new. This has been going on forever. But I don't remember there ever being ads where a used car salesman would talk about their tactics. But here there were these people who, for all they knew, there was 1 million people watching this, and they didn't know who those 1 million people were. But they were so assured that it's okay to manipulate and to get people to not ask questions that they could just do that openly like that. That's what makes my course groundbreaking, because apparently I'm the only one out there that's teaching people not just to ask questions, but the importance of asking questions and how to do it. But it makes me sad anyway.
Yeah, no, that's great. So that's my sense of your course and also your book too, is you want people to go through an exercise, go through and figure out exactly what it is they need and what they want, and then look at the options. So so that's our tagline for today: knowledge is power.
Yes.
Betty, do you want to chip in here?
Yeah, well, I find that if they don't want you to ask questions, why not? I mean, that would be the first thing. That's a red flag and a half, if not two complete red flags. So, yes, asking questions in any situation where someone's asking you to buy something. I mean, why would you not want them to do that? That doesn't make me feel good about what they're offering, frankly, and it doesn't make me feel good about buying from that person. To me, real customer service and satisfaction involves knowing what it is that people actually want and what they need, which may or may not be the same thing, but being sure that what you're offering fits the bill. So, yeah. Margo's course is amazing in terms of being a resource to help you understand what it is that you truly want, and not what you think you should want, not what other people are telling you should want, but what you actually want. And furthermore, other resources like understanding what your financial options are, all the different ways that you could enjoy relaxing later on in life. It could be a lot of things that maybe you never even thought of. And her insights through her decades of experience of talking with people about these crucial moments in their lives, her experience with guiding people and watching people have different forms of outcomes. They may be very happy ones, they may be very distressing ones. Lean into Margo, because Margo knows what she's talking about, and she's not afraid to ask you the questions that will help you to understand where you really are, what your options really are, and what you need to ask the people who are asking you to give them your money. And also, your money or your life. In this case, it's your money and your life. So yeah, you want to really have your eyes open before you just buy into somebody's golden promise that they're going to solve all your problems for you.
Well, and another thing that made me sad about it, besides that they're really trying to, in those two examples I gave, they're really trying to fool people who might not be happy there, might be happy, but they're also not out looking for the people who have decided that this is what they want. I mean, I've told this story before. I'm not going to go into it now, but in 1965, when my mother had to have some place for my grandparents, because grandpa could no longer take care of grandma, let alone both of them, which is what he had been doing. And there just was nothing satisfactory. The only thing she could find was absolutely horrible. So it's wonderful that there are places better now, to go to. However, they're not marketing for those people. And in fact, my experiences is that because grandma and grandpa really did need something, they would not have been considered the desired target audience, because they would much rather have people go there who don't need them. I remember at one point, my brother and I were interviewing grandma. My parents stayed with me until they died. Matter of fact, my father died in my home. But at one point, we didn't know that was going to be possible. So my brother and I were looking for places. And this guy that was interviewing us, and I know he didn't tell, well, I said, what's going to happen if their money runs out? Because I knew how little money mom and dad had. And he's like, oh, well, you'll have to take them home. But if I hadn't asked that question, a lot of people assume, well, Medicaid will take over. No, that doesn't happen. But the thing that he said, which really startled me, but unfortunately didn't surprise me, was the biggest mistake. He said, what do you think is the biggest mistake that people make about coming to these places? And I'm thinking, well, coming, I don't know, because it wasn't my thing. It's for other people. It wasn't my thing. But what he said was the biggest mistake people make is that they don't come until they need it. And I'm like, at $5,000 a month, why would somebody want to spend $5,000 a month when they don't need it? But that's how they see it. They want people there who don't need them. And the problem is with people like my parents is that if they came when they didn't need it, by the time they did need it, they wouldn't have any money left. So it's a good service. Even 55 plus housing, there are people who love it. It can be a good service. Certainly, independent living and assisted living can be a good service. The problem is they're marketing to people who don't need it, who aren't going to give them a lot of trouble. And even then, they're not giving them all the information. If that's what's best for you, I want you to go there. I want you to find the best one for you. But I also want you to know what you're getting into. And I want all those promises to be guaranteed. And I teach you how to do that.
Yeah. And the other thing is you wrote a book called How to Keep Your Parents at Home. So that is one of the first options that you go is for many people, the best option and the most affordable option is to keep them at home. And you go into various ways that can happen, for getting in care, or having family, other ways of doing it. We even talk sometimes about the financing of that option. So do you want to just maybe we'll just let people know that if they sign up for your course, Your Perfect Retirement Living, you also get a copy of the book.
Yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that now?
Well, the book I wrote, I think I wrote it about 5-6 years after my father died. Mom had done everything she could to keep her parents home. Unfortunately, there was no home health aides. There was no help. So towards the end, she just couldn't do it anymore. Things were better when my mom and dad were there. And my book is twofold, and it's kind of mixed up together. But I have a plan about how to do it. It's a 4-step plan. It's called Love. Let go is the first one. I teach you how to let go of the past so that doesn't get involved, making you crazy and getting sidetracking what's going on in the present. Organizing, that's the big one. I teach you how to make a team, because nobody should do it all by themselves, but I teach you how to make a team, how to do it as inexpensively as possible. And I give lots of ideas and options, some of which are free. V is to teach you the value of your parents, and unfortunately, some people forget that. I remember when Dad was 92 years old, and he was using a walker by then, one of those rollators with a seat on it. He would every day, several times a day, I had 2 Dalmatians at the time. He would let them in and out, which meant I didn't have to worry about what I was going to find when I came home. And he would also go to the kitchen, and he'd sit on his little chair, and he'd empty and fill the dishwasher. it was important for him to still know that there was value, that he brought value to me. I mean, his being there was valuable, of course, but it's important for everybody, unless they're bedridden and really can't do anything. It's important. So I teach people how to find the value in doing this. And then, of course, the E is periodic evaluations to see how it's going. But intermixed with this, when Dad was taking care of Mom, I had a 2-story garage in my backyard, which they converted into just a charming little apartment. And Dad was taking care of Mom. Towards the end, Mom really couldn't do much herself. We made a lot of mistakes then. Mainly the biggest mistake is that Dad wouldn't let anybody help. So the biggest mistake is not getting a team. But there were other mistakes. There were some things we did right. It went better when Dad was living with me by himself, and we were in a different house, of course. It went better. But intermixed with the plan that I teach people is the story, and it's a very personal story. I kind of surprised myself as to how personal I got about some of the stories I told. But I want people to know that this book is not just some expert, in quotes, telling people how to live. It came from somebody who not only does have the expertise, but also actually lived it. And again, I'm very open about the mistakes I made. I'm also very open about the gratification that I got. And I will say this. The night before Dad died, he had been sleeping in his chair a lot because it was easier to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. But that night, I was upstairs. He called up and said he wanted to get into bed, but he was having trouble. The bed was kind of high. So I went down and helped him get into bed. And he hugged me and I hugged him and we both said, "I love you." And the next morning when I came down, he was gone. And, if he had been, so many people, let me put it to you this way. There were kind of 2 kinds of people. Of course, there's a continuum, but on this end is people who thought I was a saint. I mean, they were going to go to the Pope and have him declare me a saint. Now, number one, if they knew my dad, they would know that having my dad around wasn't that hard, but I wasn't a saint. And there were times when I got a little grumbly. There were people over here who thought it was horrible and selfish because Dad would be so much better off somewhere with a lot of other old people around. Now, I knew my dad. I knew that'd kill him. For some older people, they love it. For my dad, it would have killed him. Okay. But it's gosh. Okay. Oh, so there were all these people trying to tell me what to do and tell Dad what to do. And, everybody had an opinion about what we should be doing, which is another reason why I wrote the book. And that's certainly why I wrote the course, which is, everybody's going to have their opinion about you and your parents or you and your children, and everybody's going to tell you what to do. The only person that really knows what you really need to be doing is you. And I help you do that. And then I also help you deal with all those other people, some of them well-meaning and some of them just wanting your money, who are trying to tell you what to do.
Yeah, no, that's perfect, Margo. And I think you mentioned a team, and I think that applies to everything, from living at home, and also, as you mentioned, that little article encouraged not to bring your team to a tour of the facility. So I think it's something the whole family needs to go through. We're going through this with Bonnie's family. Her dad is 92, and at home, but it's not obvious that he can stay there. And so they're looking at the options too. And so it's got to be something that works for him and it works for the family. And so a team's very important.
Again, in the course, I teach people how to know what they want. In my book, I teach the children how to not let the past interfere with the decisions that they're helping their parent make today. So in both cases, one of the keys is knowing yourself and not letting other outside stuff come into it. And I'm sure that's what's happening with Bonnie's family.
Yeah, one of the factors is that all of the kids are 2 hours away.
That makes it harder. It was great having them in the backyard. I will tell you that. I like that. And even having Dad in the house with me, it does help a lot. It makes it makes it a lot easier.
So I guess we can talk about your program. So it's Your Perfect Retirement Living, which also includes the book. And And the thing here is that you help people through that first step, right? Your perfect day.
Mhm.
Really getting clarity on what it is that you want for yourself. Like some people can't wait to get out of their homes and onto a cruise ship or something like that, and
Right.
then others really want to just stay where they're at. So,
Yep.
so
But
you, yeah,
really diving into yourself and
yeah,
knowing what it is, and then how to use what you learned about yourself.
yeah. No, so it's a perfect exercise. So we highly recommend it to everyone. Betty, you have any more comments here?
No, I was listening to Margot's story with great interest and I'm sure that a person who's looking at the same type of thing of like how's it going to go for mom and dad, that book could really help a lot in understanding what it would be like. Suppose we went into the multi-generational household. What would that really be like? What would I need to do? What questions would I need to ask? I guess for me the biggest takeaway is the team is the team, and don't let anybody break up your team. like uh assembling a team of people that like, and trust, that is your family, that is your friends, that is people who have expertise, is key to having success in this part of the life journey. And let me tell you, you want Margo on your team. She is a caring, deep, highly knowledgeable, and very professional person who has spent her life helping older people have better lives. So that's my recommendation.
God, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And the other thing we should mention, if you sign up for her program, which includes the book, you also get a 15-minute session with Margo, because everybody's unique. Everybody has their own journey, their own requirements, and that 15-minute session can get you on the right track. She also offers more coaching, but at least you can get an idea. She can help understand where you and your loved ones are at,
Greg,
and help with the direction.
I wanted you to mention, Greg, because I'm not even sure, but we're running a special that includes that 15 minutes now. What are the dates that are going to encompass that special?
Well, today's good.
What?
So I don't know if we're going to run that, and as long as it's of value to people, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And anyway, so again, you can go to Your Perfect Retirement Living, and this is what the website looks like. There's a little intro from Margo about what you're going to get. Um, there's some various blog posts that you can get access to. But anyway, if this is if this is your family, you're making the decision for yourself, or you have a loved one, it's probably the best investment you could possibly make is to understand what it is your options are, because knowledge really is power, and you can save a lot of money and heartbreak by making the right decisions. And the more you know about your options, the better your decisions will be.
That's right. Thank you, Greg. And Betty,
Okay.
thank you very much.
So happy Monday. It's Monday, right?
It's
Happy
Monday.
Monday.
Yes, it's Monday.
Okay. Talk to you soon.